Hey everyone and welcome to Star Citizen Racing. I'm Diplomat and I'm joined here tonight by a great racer and a good friend. I'm of course talking about Kronzy. How are you doing tonight?
He called me a great racer, chat. He called me a great racer. Hello, Diplomat. How you going, chat? It is the first ever streamed Time Trial Masters, which is pretty hype. But I've got to say something, Diplomat. I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't stream my one and only performance in the Time Trial Masters. As I'm announcing it here, I'm retiring champion, Time Trial Masters ground champion, never to compete again. You heard it first, guys. 100% undefeated rate.
I was gonna say it's because we want you to return so you can show us all your glory on stream, you know? We have to have a little cookie, wiggle it in front of you.
Look, feeding my ego is the easiest way to my heart. So if you guys are wondering what the hell's going on, this is Time Trial Masters. Diplomat, our absolute champion of racing, created a website earlier this year, right? It only went live maybe February or something?
Yeah, it's not even been a year yet, and it's gotten quite good traction. We got lots of racers, lots of races and runs being posted. It's real nice.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. It's been really cool to see a bunch of new people hop into the racing community, because until maybe last year, it was quite a small community. It's getting really big, it's getting really hype, and now we're able to have these awesome events with a bunch of really good races, which is probably the best bit.
Yeah, and if you don't know what Time Trial Masters is, it's basically where we take 16 of Star Citizen's best time trial racers and we group them up into 2 divisions of 8 ship racers and 8 ground racers. And then we let those racers battle it out over a series of heats, and whoever comes out on top after those heats, well, that's your Time Trial Masters. And speaking of Masters, as you alluded to, you're also the winner of the ground division of last season's and the first season of Time Trial Masters. Could you tell us a little bit about how it was to race in the Time Trial Masters?
Yeah, 100%. So Time Trial Masters, by far, honestly, is the best racing series I've been part of so far. The racetrack choices, amazing. The organization, amazing. The fact that Diplomat continues to feed my ego already, and we're like, 5 minutes into the broadcast, amazing. It's really good. The best part about this, though, guys, is we get to see the qualifiers. People who are absolutely just slamming these races over and over and over again and showing those times on scr.gg, sharing with each other the different strategies that we've been trying to do to qualify. One big example is during that first season, we were absolutely slashing through best of the best. And you yourself, Diplomat, myself, Herbie, during that first season, we absolutely, we crunched down what's the best we can get this track, what's the fastest we can get it. And it resulted in some qualifications and some good stuff. So it was very cool. I'm excited to watch it today and see what happens. And remember, guys, we're crowning 2 champions today, ground racing and ship racing. But we do have a couple of competitors who are participating in both because they are absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's insane to see like people putting in so much time and effort into racing in Star Citizen, and we got 2 racers who qualified for both the divisions today, and that's Splen and Neojet, if I'm not mistaken. And they've been putting in a lot of work, especially Splen. He's actually topping the leaderboards for both divisions right now, and I think he only had like 2 points or something that he was missing before the qualifier, and Aaron got him by 2 points into Time Trial Masters. So that's insane.
There you go. That's how you get in. The thing with Splen too, this guy, all right. So you guys need to understand, this machine is changing Star Citizen Racing just in terms of how fast he is doing everything. Multiple world record holder. Time Trial Masters ship racing champion from last season, and he's got all of these world records. There is no doubt in my mind he's going to have a good showing today. However, I do have to tell you, Diplomat, I am rooting for someone who is in this very chat, who last season got a little bit snubbed because they may have accidentally spun out, and then I stole the win from them.
Oh,
possibly. So, ground racing, I want to see what Herbie can do. Herbie was doing a really good job. He's been absolutely crushing the racing. He joined the Stanton 7 this year as well. So, hopefully a really good show out from him. But it's not just Splen. It's not just Herbie. I think we do have a little bit of a playlist, and we'll go through some of the people that are in there because it's absolutely insane. While the guys are setting up for this first race,
we can see the Carrack coming in here with all the racers, so they will be ready very soon. But we can go ahead and have a quick look at all the racers in no particular order. Here we go. We have starting with Aaron, which is our one of our best ground racers. Has a 189 rating. He's the current leader of, or second place, sorry, on SCR.GG. And we have Data Machine, who is actually a stand-in. And we have Herbie, Nesratil, Shaqnu, Steve CC, RP, Tint, Strysax, Splen, Sanji, Neojet, Edwin, and Canadian Maverick. So lots of good racers here.
Yeah, some absolutely massive names, including, people like Nesrathil, who, absolutely crushed it in the Stanton 7 this year. Absolutely annihilated. Like, his performance was insane. In fact, when I say crush, it's a good point I say crush, because there was a moment that you had with him in the last race of the Stanton 7.
Don't read his SCR profile. I had nothing to do with that. It was not my fault. So totally.
No, definitely not Diplomat's fault. He was like, I could just edge him out. Didn't work. And then, Aaron. Aaron has been a really, really big name from this last season. He sort of popped in and world record here, world record there. Probably the biggest thing that we saw from him is there is a racetrack called the Grey Cat Challenge. It is in New Babbage. Give it a go yourself. You can check it out on scr.gg. And Aaron was the first racer to get a sub 2 minute on that track. Something that we thought may actually not be possible. And then he proceeded to beat it again. This guy is absolutely dedicated to getting some of these harder world records.
Yeah, he got that track down to a science. I mean, I think that was the first track he started racing. He said, maybe I'll try myself a little bit of racing. And he just grinded that track all the way down. I think it's like 1 minute 56 seconds at the moment. It's insane. And now he's just steadily started running other tracks, crushing it and getting really, really good at it. So I'm excited to see how he will do in this Time Trial Masters.
Yeah, 100%. Another player that I'm looking to watch out for today is my good friend Canadian Maverick. I would not have done any ship racing ever if it wasn't for Canadian Maverick, because this guy is dedicated to racing with not necessarily the most perfect ship. Obviously, all of our racers will be using the same vehicles today, but Canadian Maverick will push that 350R as far as he can, any opportunity he gets. So I'm excited to see what he can do when he's forced into these other vehicles, because he is a fast racer.
Absolutely, and he'll also be able to run the 300i today. It's not the same as the 350, which he knows and loves, but it's a similar ship. So I hope he will enjoy that we got that ship. I know maybe deep down he really wanted the 350R, but you can't rent that ship currently in game, as I'm aware, so we had to cut it from the list, sadly.
Commentators, please stand by for a great lineup. Please stand by. Thank you.
You got it. As you just heard, we've got some races starting to line up now. We've got a couple of Ursa Rovers, which is what we're going to be using for the first race today, over at Rayari Deltana. This one's going to be tricky. So, time trial-wise, this track, which was only revealed 3 weeks ago, this is a completely new track designed by Data Machine, who's been an absolute goat in the community of making tracks. This is a completely new track. They've been using Cyclones in qualifiers, but we've decided to, give them a little bit of a challenge, switch it to the Ursa Rover, make it a slightly different slightly different driving model. But I'm expecting good things. It's a decent vehicle all in all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it was the right call to get some other vehicles into the mix, so we're not only running the Cyclone or only running, one type of ship. I think that's sort of the beauty of the competition, that you get to try lots of different ships in rapid succession on short circuit tracks. And I think that's really the beauty of Time Trial Masters.
For sure. One of the good things is we are not just doing one race today, we're not just doing 2, we're doing 6 races. It's the entire championship today. So while we are doing Rayari Deltana, we've got all the ship races over at Snake Pit. They're getting practice runs in, they're getting ready, and they're getting set up. So I'm talking way too fast. So what we're going to end up with is hopefully a pretty seamless transition into each race. But
absolutely,
things can happen in Star Citizen. So if everything does go to hell, you just need to blame Sandig.
And as you heard Luigi say earlier, he said they're lining up for the grid. So let's have a quick look at the grid. As you can see here, we got a nice little graphics here. Starting back to front, we have Sanji Sama from Iceland, a veteran within the racing community. And right next to him, we have Data Machine from XGR, also the creator of this track. Wonder if he's going to have an advantage if you have some shortcuts up to his sleeve or last-minute rule changes, maybe. One row down, we got Herbie, Kronzi's favorite, I believe, starting in 6th. Then we have RP next of him. He's also a old-time racer. He's been winning Dema Rally 2019, I think. So he's been racing for a long time. Then, of course, Nestrothil on the row ahead. This year's Stanton winner, also a great racer. Then we're coming to the podium places. We have NeoJet, who starts in 3rd. Then we have Splen in 2nd. Amazing racer, and Aaron, of course, our first place starter.
Yeah, it's going to be a good way to do it. So I believe the rules for this have eluded me, but I believe that the way we're doing these staggered starts is this is all based on qualifiers, how many points you had when the qualifiers hit. Your staggered starts for the next 2 races will be dependent on your finish of the first race. I believe that's correct. Oh, I did not hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. That's correct. Our racers will start where they qualified. So this is how they qualified. And after this heat, they will be distributed how they finished.
Easy. Awesome. Well, it looks like the racers are just about to get ready. So...
yeah, we are just waiting for the final word from Luigi that everyone is ready to go. It looks like we are missing one racer here.
Someone forgot to buy a rover. Classic. Always the case. That's not actually the case, chat. I don't know.
Imagine that, not having a rover. Outrageous.
Well, while we're waiting, you guys tell us in chat. Who are you rooting for? First race, it's ground race. We got some good competitors. We don't have all winners. Only one of these guys is going to get top points. And remember, it's not how necessarily you perform in one particular race. Just perform, come 2nd, come 3rd in every single race, and you're probably going to get that top spot.
Yeah, I mean, you do get points for every finish here above 4 and up. So our racers here really do want to end up in the top 4. You get points. And there are 3 heats in each division. So in case you mess up here, you can do better next race or the race after that. So it should work nicely for our racers.
One thing that's worth mentioning as well, these guys mostly have only been able to practice this solo. Yeah, they might have been able to get 1 or 2 people here or there. Go ahead.
Commentators, please stand by. We have an issue with Data Machine. We just have to kill him first, so he can join the lineup.
All right. Well, that's the first.
No worries. All right. All right. It sounds like everyone has come together to eliminate the competition, but hey, it's Star Citizen. That's what you do. Yeah, what I was saying. that's so Star Citizen. Love it. What I was saying. These guys have mostly been competing in time trials, so they've been racing these completely by their own. And some of these tracks are going to be very interesting for multiple people. If we have a look at this track itself, which I'm not sure if you can bring up, Diplomat, but if we do have a look at the track, you're going to see in these turns on this track where we've got these trees, there's not a lot of room. Maybe you're going to have 2 people next to each other maximum without crashing into each other. That's going to be big in the Rover. One thing, if you have not driven the Rover that much, it spins out very easily on collisions. So that's going to be something that these players are going to have to watch out for. And you'll notice that's going to be a similar case with a lot of these tracks. While they are amazing time trial tracks, and they are going to be amazing racing tracks, you can't just go full balls to the wall speed. You've got to watch out for your fellow racers, or you're going to be spinning around. And then maybe 1st to 8th, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to be a very challenging track with this many racers on board. And also the Ursa, it's a little faster than the stock Cyclone, which this track usually runs. So we're going to have a little more speed as well. I'm really excited to see how this pans out. But I think it's going to go very nicely because our racers are experienced and the track actually works surprisingly well with the Ursa.
Yeah, like we said, it's got a very similar, but not exactly the same sort of driving, like style as the Cyclone. It drifts a lot. One thing, actually, I did want to mention that I was thinking of before. So many of our racers use a bunch of different techniques to actually get their time trials as fast as they possibly can. And one thing that's kind of strange, our good friend our good friend Splen actually drives in first person when he is doing his time trials. Now, I don't know if he's going to be doing that again when he does it here, but that's going to be very, very strange for him because that is going to be his spatial awareness with all the other vehicles around is going to be way worse than everyone else's.
Oh yeah, and this is like the main challenge because as you said, these guys usually do time trials and our race is very different. So I'm thinking maybe RP, Nestorthil, and Herbie, Sanji, who actually has lots of race experience, might have an advantage here, seeing how they've been running, you know, Daymar Rally, Stanton 7, and other races. I think we might see some different strategies and racing from them.
100%. Hopefully Data's getting put back in soon. We do have a Carrack available so that they can respawn pretty quickly, especially if he has indeed crashed. But it looks like we've got 7 vehicles on the pad at the moment.
Yeah, you can see Data Machine at the back there. He just got his rover out, so I'm sure it's very, very close to a race start now.
Awesome. Should be starting very soon. Chat, can we get some hype for the first race? Whoops. I just knocked my headphones out. I'm that excited.
That's
Sorry, what I was saying, can we get some hype for the very first race of Time Trial Masters Autumn? It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see that hype.
Alright, here we can see Data Machine. He is on his way to the grid. He's the last man. I think he should be in front of Sanji, but who knows? Our race director will sort it out.
We do have a couple of people working behind the scenes as well today, guys. So if you see them anywhere, Ace Gear and Luigi, make sure you give them a shout out and say hi.
Definitely. Couldn't have done it without their help. I mean, Luigi is actually the one who is punching in the racers with the timers and making sure that we got everything we need to see who's leading and how well they're doing. So really appreciate the help.
And of course, if you ever see Diplomat in the wild, always praise him for everything he's done for the racing community. It's been awesome.
That would be a nice change, because so far I've just been shot down and people are chasing me, especially this guy, Nestorthil I think it's called. I don't know what the beef is, but there must be something.
Race start is in 60 seconds. 60 seconds.
Excellent, thank you.
Race start 60 seconds, guys. Give us your predictions. Who's going to get there the first race? I don't know. Hopefully me. I would like to get there, but I gave up my position so that I could commentate and forfeit.
I mean, there's still time, and you do have a ship, so chances are pretty good.
I could ram the competition. That's a good point. I do have money on Herbie. I mean, I don't have money. Don't gamble, guys. It's a bad idea. Can you confirm for me as well? Race laps, I believe, is 5 laps.
It's 8 laps for each track, just to give a little more flavor and let people be able to catch up if they make mistakes.
You predict 3 do not finishes. Ooh, wishing harm on the opponents. Interesting. Right. Like I was saying before, one of the best things about having these tracks sort of picked out by people that do a lot of stuff in the racing community means hopefully we don't get a ton of do not finishes. Hopefully these races end up pretty well. If not, maybe we're bad. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's Star Citizen, anything can happen. We never know. But we've given them the best opportunities. And we are live, it seems.
Oh, there we go. We are off. So as you can see, that absolute funnel into that first turn there. We've already got a bunch of crashes coming out of the forest. I thought we would have had a bunch more going over, but hey, that's what happens.
An RP from the back. So we have our leader Aaron, who is currently first place and started on first place, although Neojet started on fourth, I believe, has made his way up to second, and RP from fifth up to third. It's a really good start for them.
Just using as much of that collision as possible to get past everyone. And we're seeing more collisions as they go into that third turn around the trees. It's really, really tight. You've got to take those turns as slow as you can to avoid knocking into someone. Otherwise, you're going to lose valuable seconds. And we're already into lap number 2 for some of our races.
And we can see some of our times starting to get in here. 1 minute roughly for one lap. I wonder how much a running start will give them.
True, that would be interesting. So yeah, as we've got right now, so we've got Aaron the God smashed it with 1 minute for first lap. Neojet 1 minute and 2 seconds. RP minute 4. Herbie, Data Machine. We've still got Nezrathil, Sanji, and Spline to finish their first lap. No, there we go. Sanji finishes the lap. There we go, 1:27. So a fair large portion of time between the first and last place. But Aaron absolutely smashing it.
Oh, it looks like Neojet had a flip here, allowing RP to catch up.
That's going to be disaster for Neo. There we go. Aaron gets into lap number 3. 46 seconds. Insanely fast. That is a 15-second difference from his last run. Neojet with 53 seconds. RP with 52 seconds. Still Aaron first. Neojet second. RP in third, it seems. But an absolutely insane start already. A 44-second lap for Data Machine.
That is very fast. Something tells me he has had a lot of practice on this track, so it's nice to see that he's actually catching quite a lot, because he got caught up in that crash at the start, where he lost a lot of time, and he's now all the way up into, what is it, 5th? 4th?
It appears to be 5th. From what I can tell at the moment. Aaron hitting his lap number 4. 2 minutes and 30 total on his time. That's a pretty decent average for 4 laps of this track. But as you get out of those flips and those crashes, you know, it's gone from there. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more restraint from some of our competitors going around these corners, but I think they've sort of got the hang of it now.
We can see here,
and we've got a nice little spacing.
We can see here Aaron catching up to the back marker and running past Sanji Sama, lapping him for 1 lap.
Oh. I don't know about you, but I feel like that should be worth extra points.
Oh, definitely. I think we're gonna have to give him something special. Looks like Data Machine has had an accident, because he's now way back here.
Yeah, nothing great happening with Data Machine. I am very curious, did Nezrathil and Splen explode for this race? I didn't see any explosions, but they do seem to be out of the race. Maybe they lost a wheel, perhaps?
Yeah, I didn't see them either, so I can see them running down there, actually. So maybe they exploded, yeah.
It is possible. One thing that can happen with these vehicles, doesn't happen often, is you can lose wheels, but it often requires either a really, really hard hit or a lot of sustained hits. And there we go. We do have confirmation from Nezrathil that he lost a wheel and spun out.
There we go. And we can also see Data Machine has also had a collision with a tree over here and is grounded. So it looks like he might also have lost a wheel.
Oh, that is rough. Bad day to be a Data Machine fan. Off he goes running. Get as far away from that Ursa as possible. It's clearly cursed. Aaron's still going to be in the lead for this one. Neojet and RP not actually that far behind. If Aaron messes up, I mean, we've seen some collisions, we've seen some spin-outs. One wrong turn into a tree could mean the loss of a wheel, could mean the end of the race for them.
Speaking of end of the race, it looks like Herbie also has had an accident and lost a wheel.
Oh,
so
no!
Unfortunate for him.
Wheels gone from Herbie as well. I mean, hey, yeah, the do not finish hasn't popped up just yet. I'm not willing to count Herbie out yet. He will crawl over that finish line. I believe in it.
And RP with a flyer here, taking fastest lap. Is he trying to go for it?
43 seconds. Absolutely insane. And that's going to give him a couple of seconds up on Neojet. So closing in, but they've only got one more lap to do it. And there it is. The do not finish for Herbie is up. It's all right, Herbie. You'll get there in the next 2 races. I believe in ya. And you better, because I do have money. I mean, I don't have money on you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Sanji Sama taking it nice and slow. Currently in 4th position. 2 laps behind the leaders. Aaron and Neojet 2 seconds behind each other right now.
Yeah, Neojet really wants this win, so he's giving it his all, but I don't think there is enough laps left for him to catch up, sadly. So,
yeah, he's going to need Aaron to spin out basically right now after coming out of this trees. But it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. Aaron going to take first place in the first race of the night. Congratulations, Aaron. Followed by Neojet, RP, and Sanji.
very well done, and very unfortunate for our racers who did not finish. I believe maybe the crash at the start gave them a little disadvantage, and also some small tree nudges or other damages they caught by colliding has made them DNF, sadly.
I was very surprised by the crashes at the start, because I would have expected them to be actually inside that little little forest section. But it was as they were all coming out. The second that they all came out of it, they all sort of lost a little bit of control over their vehicle and just ram. And that couldn't have been good for their vehicle in any later collision. That's a lot of sustained damage. So, but nonetheless, congratulations, Aaron. You're going to be in a great position to take the Time Trial Masters for the ground. Neojet and RP as well. Congratulations. And Sanji for finishing the race. Well done.
Absolutely. Who knew? I mean, he was so far back, but just by driving safely and getting around the track, he actually managed to secure points. Well done.
100%. Now, luckily, this isn't the end for Splen either. He's in all the races today, so one do not finish. That's nothing to this guy. He's going to have an opportunity to get, well, obviously, the other 2 ground races, but, of course, the ship racing, where I think he is an absolute favorite to win.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited to see the next races, because we are changing to different vehicles as we go into race number 2, but that's still a little bit far out, because we are going to have a ship race in between as well.
This is the end of race number 1, everyone. Winner is Aaron the God.
Excellent. Can you see if you can grab Aaron in here for an interview? Is he okay with that?
1 sec. Yeah, sure. Do you keep you mind, Dragon? Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, while we get Aaron in here, keep in mind that we're also going to be getting all these ground races to go get ready for their next race, which I believe their race number 2 is going to be at Thetis Drift. An absolute banger of a track. One of the best ground racing tracks that I have ever played myself. So that's going to be a really, really good one. And unfortunately, it's going to be one where Aaron is also likely to be the favorite. This is a track that he's going to love to be.
I mean, he's really good at that track, and I don't know if he has the world record still, but he is really good at that track. He's been practicing it a lot, and he loves the cyclone, so it's going to be a very, very tight race and interesting to see.
All right, do we have Aaron in here? No. Oh, yeah.
Hey Aaron, how are you?
Hey. I was pretty good. I had a constant pace, I felt like. I made very little mistake, and even with all the carnage, I managed to survive.
Yeah, I mean, just from the start, you were gunning it and just confidently going into all the turns, and no issues, it seemed. No wheels, no nothing.
Yeah, I saw some Ursas slide across, and I had one little moment where Herbie was parked on the ramp, but luckily no real damage done to me.
Now, how confident were you going into this race? Because it's a track that's only just come out very, very recently. And as I was just saying on stream, you're a big favorite to win in the next race. So, yeah, how are you feeling now? You've gotten this first win.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, my game plan coming into this was win the first 2, because I'm very confident on both tracks. Well, I won the first one, so up to the second, I guess.
Up for a good start,
yeah,
definitely.
Job there.
All right, thank you, Aaron. We are going for a short break while we set up for the next race. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh,
And
there
we're
they
off.
go. Absolutely smashing through it. Splen's going to remain in the lead for the first turn, but NeoJet is right on him.
And Shacknu going
As-
wide, very wide there, missing out on the start, so he's falling back. Oh, and we got the collision.
Oh, NeoJet. NeoJet appears to be off the track. Edwin and Shacknu with a little bit of a collision. I don't know what's happened there, what the result is. They might have just spun out. They might continue. But Splen is going to stay in first place. Shacknu and Canadian Maverick, all three of them right next to each other, though oh, no, that was just a little bit of a glitch. Shacknu just getting ahead of Splen, barely.
Yeah, he definitely got a real nice inside line there. Managed to drive past. He's pushing like hell here. We can see him just going for it. He really wants this win.
And we're already in second lap. Shacknu and Splen right next to each other. Strazik and Maverick not too far behind that. Tint as well. It looks like NeoJet did survive that earlier collision, so he's going to continue on, but he's got a lot of ground to carry.
And Canadian Maverick hitting the wall there, going straight in full speed, sadly. So he is out.
Jeez. Shacknu has extended that lead against Splen. Wow, that is absolutely nuts.
Shacknu is really pushing it here. Actually catching a backmarker, Steve CC, as he goes into the finish right now for lap number 3. Wow, you can really see Shacknu has been practicing and he's really putting in some really good laps here.
Oh yeah, Shacknu wants to get this lead. And look, Splen will probably be happy with the second place, but I still maintain he's going to get first or he's going to DNF. Let's see what he can do, see if he can catch back up to Shacknu.
It looks like to me that Splen is just taking it easy, making sure he doesn't crash so that he can get that second place. It looks like NeoJet is limping. I guess he took a lot of damage at the start there when we saw him go out.
100%. You can see as he's coming around this turn here, he's taking it very slowly. So he may have lost a wing, he may have lost an engine, I don't know, but he's not in a great way. But as long as he finishes, he might be able to get some points. But Shacknu, with the lead now is Shacknu, several turns ahead of Splen. But Splen doesn't really have to worry about anything right now. As long as he takes these lines safe, he's going to secure second place, and that's a large amount of points to go into race 2 and 3 with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Shacknu got this in the bag. He's perhaps pushing a little bit too much, but maybe this is just his pace. Maybe this is the only way he knows how to race Snake.
Maybe this is his safe pace. We don't know. Maybe he's holding back some times for us for SCR. We don't know. We could see after Time Trial Masters him submit like 5 different laps, all of which are like sub-minutes or something. I don't even know. But he's doing absolutely crazy. We're seeing him get some 39-second laps, which is insanely fast. For reference, every time I try to do this track, if I get like a 55-second lap, I'm loving it. That's fantastic. These guys are crushing this track.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's going for time trials here. He's not going for racing. He's gonna post this run on SCR and be first right after this race. That's the pace he's setting right now. It's insane.
Let's have a quick look at the times themselves. So it looks like, oh my god, I have 17 things open. There we go. So yeah, Shacknu in first place, currently on his 6th lap. 38 seconds is his fastest lap that he's had. Splen about, we don't know, maybe 10 seconds behind. About 20 seconds behind, actually. There's a large difference. But Splen coming in second currently. Strazik in third. Now, Strazik may actually have an opportunity to get past Splen, only about 7 seconds behind in those last couple of laps. Then we've got Edwin Jarvis in 4th, Tint in 5th, NeoJet in 6th, and Steve in 7th. And those guys have quite a few laps to get through. But yeah, 100%. As long as Shacknu keeps it safe now, he's got it. He's got that first win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think either Splen and Strazik has damage, or they're just chilling, because Shacknu is actually almost going to lap them soon here.
Oh wow, we've seen quite a few DNFs just then. So Edwin Jarvis, Tint, and Steve have all DNF'd now, which means NeoJet, after that initial collision, as long as nothing bad happens to him now, he's going to get that 4th place. So absolutely crazy. I would love to hear from NeoJet how he actually survived. I don't know, but it's going to work out for him. He's going to secure some points. Shacknu with a 38.9. Jesus.
That's insane. This is time trial pace. I mean, he is pushing really hard, and I guess... Oh no! Is that a crash? I think that's a crash.
No. Oh, what happened with Shaknu? No, surely not.
Shaknu went out. He pushed too hard. He went too fast.
Oh no! All he had to do was keep it safe. He had the lead.
On the last lap, on the fourth last turn, he messed up and he hit the wall, sadly. And now he's out, and Splen is coming in to pick up that first place.
Yeah, unless Strazik can somehow get past Splen here, yeah, Splen's gonna steal that first place. That is heartbreaking.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean, Shaknu was doing such a great job. He had a record pace, I mean, for time trials. And in the race setting.
Having sub 40 seconds in race, that's nuts. That's crazy. And here we go. Splen.
Across the line for Splen, taking first place after that unfortunate accident by Shaknu. It sucks to see, but I mean, that's racing. He did push very hard, and that cost him a lot in the end, but he's still in the points. He's gonna get that fourth place, even though he did not finish.
Yeah, unless NeoJet somehow absolutely slams into the ground right now, but I'm fairly sure he can take it as safe as he wants at this point. Yeah, that's going to be Shaknu in fourth place. So Splen in first, Strazik in second, NeoJet in third, assuming all goes well, and Shaknu still getting a fourth place position. So not completely punished, but oh, what a start to the Time Trial Masters. Jeez. I would love to know how that collision happened, because it happened right on Emerald Avenue, I believe is the name of that turn.
We're going to have a chat with Shaknu before we talk with Splen, just to hear what happened.
Yeah, it's crazy. And hey, look, at least he's putting out good times. That puts Shaknu in an amazing spot in my book for the next few races. I think if he's putting this out at this track, I'd love to see him at the XGR Club track.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited now to see the rest of the races, because with that pace, that's insane.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I just got the message that we are ready to talk to Shaknu, so give me a second and I'll drag him in.
No worries.
Hey Shaknu, what's a terrible ending to a perfect race you had there? I don't know what happened. Talk us through it.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I think I was just in my head. I just got, as soon as Luigi said leader final lap, something just came over me, I guess. I am my worst own biggest enemies. I just got way too nervous when he said that. I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to take it home, and then I just
that was heartbreaking to watch. You were leading with half a lap in front of Splen.
Yeah, you were a solid 25 seconds ahead of Splen. We were absolutely amazed because your times just then were insane in a race setting.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going for the world record here on the Snake Pit on SCR, since you were going that fast, but
thank you. Yeah, no, I'm definitely my own worst enemy, but yeah, for the next two races, I think I'm just gonna not try to get as nervous like that. So yeah, hoping for the best.
100%. Yeah. Also, you still secured a fourth place. You got some points on the board going into the second and third race, so it's not the absolute end of the world. So you do get something. But yeah, wow, it was very impressive.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Shaknu. We're gonna drag Splen in here in just a second and talk to him as well, our race winner. Hey Splen, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, it's going very well after watching that intense race and a terrible ending for Shaknu there at one of the last turns, actually.
I'm surprised he held it together that long, honestly, because it looked like he lost either one wing or both.
Really?
Which severely, yeah, he hit me right at the beginning of the race, just halfway through the first lap, and it looks like I managed to go unscathed, but he turned red for me because of collision, and from the looks of it, his ship was all red, and I think he was missing his wings. So I can't even imagine how difficult that must have been to keep afloat because you lose your lift profile, right?
Wow, that's
So he
crazy.
did a
Keep
great job
afloat.
lasting as long.
Not only keeping afloat, but bringing in some like record times as well after those laps.
Well, I mean, you have to remember that losing your wings also means you go faster, right? So you trade off the lift
True.
profile for going a hell of a lot faster, so he probably had some ridiculously fast laps. I mean, he was blazing, but you lose a lot of stability and control, so I kind of had that going for me too. I managed to remain intact.
Not only did you manage to remain intact, but you managed to remain one of the fastest races in the track completely. Absolutely crushing, going so far ahead. But you did have Strazik behind you for a large portion of the race.
Yeah.
Like, were you aware of that? Did you know how close he was?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Strazik has been practicing like crazy. Like he has been putting in the time, so I knew he was there. If I made a slip up, he was going to take it. So I had to make sure that I stayed steady and consistent. I was not playing this like a time trial world record. I was making sure to play this like a consistent racer, and it paid off.
Yeah, it definitely did pay off. I mean, it seemed like Shackney were pushing like his life depended on it, and you were just taking it easy, chilling at the back, and I mean, worked out at the end.
Yeah, like I said, I can't even imagine what Shackney was probably going through, having had a collision early in the race and then managing to hold it together. So that must have been extremely stressful. But it looks like because of all the DNFs, he probably still pulled off like a 4th or a 5th, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
so
he
it's not bad.
still got there in 4th, so he still get some points coming in.
Oh yeah,
but
so
speaking
he's
of
still
the next
definitely in the
race-
race.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Speaking of the next races, yeah, we've got 2 awesome races coming up: the Louisville Gateways and the XGR Club Track. Which one do you think is your best? Which one do you think you're going to absolutely crush the competition?
Club track, 100%.
Club Track.
Louisville Gateways and the 300i is going to be extremely technical and difficult for everybody, and they're big targets with a lot of obstacles everywhere, so that's going to be a massacre, just like it was in the first TTM. So, yeah, it's club track though, I got that down.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna let you get back to racing and setting up for the next race, and it was really nice talking to you. We'll catch you at the next race.
Yeah, hopefully
good
I'll
luck
see you
with it.
guys at least 2 races from now. Hopefully I'll
Fingers
talk to you
crossed.
again.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Thank you guys. See
Good
ya.
luck. All right, well, that's it for round 2. We are going away for a few minutes, prepping for round 3. See you then. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Time Trial Masters. We're here at Thaddeus Drift. As you can see, all our racers are lined up and ready to go, so we will be starting this momentarily.
So, Thaddeus Drift, absolutely amazing track. Data Machine created this track, and I cannot stop racing it. It is an absolute ton of fun. Normally, you wouldn't think of the base Cyclone as a fun vehicle to race, but the cool drifting you do in this track makes it insanely worth it. Now, unfortunately, these guys are going to be racing it at night tonight, but these guys have practiced a ton. Some of the best attempts that they've chucked up on SCR.GG are at night. You don't lose a lot from doing it at night either, so I'm expecting some good performances, especially from Aaron. Aaron is going to crush this 100%.
He's such a talented racer, and I believe he has the world record currently on this track, which is also the most contested ground racetrack on SCR.GG. So lots of racing been done there. Also, the first Cyclone track, if I'm not mistaken, on SCR. And it's just popular because of the way the Cyclone handles at the moment. It feels really nice. It's more like a real car, a rally car. It slides a lot. Really fun to drive.
Hi, commentators. I apologize for the delay. We're actually waiting on Neojet to set his spawn, and then we'll be starting right when he's there. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that information. That was Luigi, our race director, who is helping out with the timing tools and just managing everything behind the scenes. So huge thanks to him.
And doing an absolutely amazing job. But, like, 100%. Love it. Every time I hear a little ding and him pop in, I'm like, ooh, something fun's going to happen.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're probably just minutes away. Steve CC, he is not joining, but Neojet is joining, and he was going to set his spawn and then just grab his vehicle, so this shouldn't take long. Speaking of, I believe there was a new meta which was discovered here recently on doing time trials, where you could lower the ramp of the Cyclone, thereby stabilizing it, and you could get a better run. And
Yeah, so one of the biggest things with the Cyclone, right, is it's drifting. Sometimes it's a bit uncontrollable. Sometimes you're going to end up spinning out. Sometimes you get really good speed with it, but it's very, very hard to control. But yeah, when they drop that back ramp, it stops them from doing that as much, allowing them to get a bunch of speed as they come into a bunch of these turns.
Yeah, absolutely. But that method will be banned this run because we're doing a race and we don't want people to have an advantage like that. So we'd rather see them race as the track was intended.
It does show just how awesome the racing community is, though, where they found this small little edge case that can get them like a couple of like a second a lap bonus, and then they absolutely destroy it. They find ways to absolutely break these vehicles. But it's good that we have these map designers, sort of be like, all right, well, that's maybe not in the best sport of things. Let's remove that as an option, because it definitely makes for a good race. But I will say, once again, we're going to be in a situation where this is mostly a time trial race. People don't tend to do races here, except for last Time Trial Masters. We did a large race here with last Time Trial Masters, and it was really good. This is an amazing track for multiple Cyclones. Give it a go with your friends if you have the opportunity. One of the best things is the Cyclones, when they bounce into each other, are a lot more durable than the vehicles that we just saw. So I wouldn't expect many wheels lost unless we're seeing some really fast impacts. But we will still get into a situation where if anyone does spin out, anyone does collide, that's going to give an opportunity for someone to come past, especially because the Cyclone doesn't have the best acceleration.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're going to have to watch out for is people running into poles, because this track is littered with small poles, and if you hit that, you can get stuck, you can explode, a lot of things can happen. So that's probably the killer for this race. But hopefully our racers know about them all and have practiced well in advance to avoid those. Then again, it is a race, so you also have to watch out for the other racers. And I think Aaron has a huge advantage here starting on the front line.
Yeah, he's going to love this, though. Yeah, we've already seen going first might be a detriment rather than a bonus in some of these races. If some of those people behind you get a little bit frisky, get a little bit fast, you got to watch out for him. You got to be careful. This also brings back to what I was talking about with Splen. Splen drives in first person, so he's proven how amazing.
30 seconds.
Ooh, 30 seconds. I mean, yeah, he's proved how amazing of a racer he is. So he probably has the amazing spatial awareness, but I mean, it also just proves that he's a significantly better racer than I am, at the very least.
It looks like we have a slight issue with the overlay, but I'm sure it will sort itself out as we start, hopefully.
At the very worst, I'll do my best at yelling out who I think is coming first.
Yeah, that works.
If I just keep yelling Herbie, though, don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Rigged.
No, Herbie, I think, deserves this race more than anyone. In the last Time Trial Masters, I believe that Herbie just barely managed to get first after tons of crashes in the 4th and 5th lap, one of them involving me. So he knows this track. He's had the experience. Looks like they're about to start.
Oh yeah. Let's have a look as they start. And Aaron and Neojet almost collide here at the first turn. Neo getting a bad turn.
Ooh, Neo caught, Sanji caught. Everyone behind has to go around him. That's going to slow it up a ton immediately. And Aaron's now just got a huge berth behind him. Another collision before the second pad. Aaron's gonna love this as long as he doesn't completely mess up.
Aaron has an insane lead after Neojet having a collision next to the cargo containers and just making a mess here. He is dead last here now almost. After
and
Herbie.
Aaron's already on second lap. He's gonna come. He's going to lap Herbie and Neojet most likely in the second lap.
Yeah, Aaron here catching our back markers, going past Herbie and just gunning it. I mean, there is no way Aaron is going to lose this unless he crashes out.
I mean, yeah, we've already seen that was pretty crazy. They just did not want to compete for that small little section in between those cargo containers where really you can only fit one Cyclone. So if you ram a little bit too hard, you're going to cause a backup. But it looks like RP is going to be currently in second, Data Machine in third, Splend in fourth, Sanji, Nezrathil, Neojet, Aaron lapped Herbie already in his third lap now. This is wild.
And we still got a huge pilot pair by the cargo containers. It looks like some of the racers are struggling really badly, and you see Sanji and Nezrathil here having a small collision. Neojet and Aaron going beyond. I think Aaron has almost left the entire field. He's just missing the top 3 now, actually, before he's left everybody.
Yeah, more or less. Just needs to get past RP, Splen, and that'll basically do it. But we are seeing some amazing times already. RP already pulling off 34 second. There we go. We've got a 33 second up there. These are some pretty good times. Keep in mind that with world record, if you're getting a 30-second lap, that's pretty solid. That's getting you pretty close to those times. So in a race setting with all these collisions already happening, that's pretty well. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, those 30 seconds laps. And it looks like a lot of people are having trouble with the first corner here and the cargo area as they're coming around, crashing into the poles, as I said earlier, or just crashing into others who crashed into poles.
Yeah, one thing that's important to remember is when they do come around that bend, around the large pad, you do get a big amount of drift coming around there. So if you don't turn perfectly in the Cyclone, you're going to ram. And then when you try to come out of it, one thing the Cyclone's really good at is not recovering well after a crash too. So you can sort of snowball these effects. But if you take that line perfectly, if you get that drift, you drift back, you're going to be real quick. So Aaron currently in the lead, followed by RP, Data Machine, Splen, Neojet, Sanji, Herbie, Sanji, and Nezrathil. Aaron about a lap ahead of the majority of the field, but it looks like there is a lot of competition between Splen, Data, RP. These guys are very, very close to each other. Yeah. Although it looks like RP might have just been pushed out a fair bit.
Yeah, RP was tagged there by Sanji for the second time now, having lots of issues here with his competitors, who doesn't want to see him win, it seems, and flipped over, and he's now getting passed, it seems like, by Data Machine.
Well, it did look like there was only a 1 second difference between Splen and Data Machine, but as I'm looking now, it looks like Data got pushed far behind after that last lap. So there we go, Splen with a 30-second lap at absolutely insane speed. Data Machine going to take a little bit longer, lost a lot of that distance. And of course, Aaron, unfazed, absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, he's driving like there's no traffic at all. I'm wondering if he even is noticing any of his competitors. He's crushing it completely, but he did get that really good start. And unfortunately, Neojet, who clogged up the cargo grid, caused everyone else to suffer. And yeah, it really shows by the lead he has right now going into the last lap.
I am interested to find out if it is maybe possibly an issue with the track that's been happening. Maybe there's a wreck there or something that they're crashing into. Or if it is just, you know, hey, it's a race, I've got to be greedy, got to get in there as fast as I can, and it's just not working out for them. But we'll find out soon.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to ask some of the racers what happened. In particularly, I think, Neojet, as he seems to be struggling quite a lot with this corner.
Still in 4th place position though, Neojet at the moment, so not too terrible. Nezrathil at the back of the pack, only have completed 6 laps so far, but hey, no deaths yet. We'll take that. That's a W.
Yeah, that's absolutely a plus. It's nice to see people actually completing a race due to racer error rather than a track issue. And it looks like Splen hit one of those poles I was talking about right here at the end of the pad. Almost getting passed by Data Machine here.
Yeah, those small poles can be absolutely deadly, especially if you are only a couple of seconds behind the last competitor.
And Data Machine with that inside line, just going past Splen, nice and cleanly. Wow. Yeah.
Very impressive. Oh, Sanji Sama down for falling damage. Is that what that said?
That's what it said. I'm not sure if it's correct. Unless he fell under a car.
Possibly. Well, either way, Data Machine did manage to get ahead of Splen, so that's going to be Data Machine in 2nd, Splen in 3rd, Neojet in 4th, while the rest of our racers complete their laps. Aaron's in an insane spot. That's wild. 1st place position, both races.
Absolutely. I was going to say the only person who can challenge him now is RP, but he fell down the order after that spin with Sanji. But now we have Data Machine and Splen, so still a chance for them to catch up if they win the last race.
Yeah, if they can secure that last race, if we can see Aaron maybe not do so hot on the last race, then yeah, it's going to be a tight competition for the end. At the very least, it should be a tight competition for 2nd.
here we see our last racers making it to the end. It's at least nice to see that they managed to recover and get to the finish line. I wonder what happened to Sanji.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't actually see him on the map. Possible crash, maybe?
Maybe.
Let me check if he's in the Carrack. I'll do a quick. He doesn't appear to be in the Carrack as far as I can tell, so he may have actually crashed from the game.
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna drag in Neojet here real quick and we're gonna hear from him. Hey Neojet, you had a really nice start there, almost trying to pass Aaron on the inside corner, but then something happened at the second turn. Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, sorry, fucking hell, but I make a mistake. I think I was driving with too much sense on my steering wheel because I used different setup for the Ursa and the Cyclone.
Oh no. So
And yeah, at the first I was a bit crazy.
yeah, it was looking like you were going for it, like trying to take an inside line there, just sneaking past, but unfortunately just hitting that container and blocking everybody on the track.
It was in my mind like I need to go on the back of Aaron in the first turn because if not I'm going to be outside and in the corridor I'm not going to be able to be inside. And I did that well, but after someone touched me in the corridor between the containers, it was turned and then I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, it seemed like we had a lot of collisions in between the containers. I get a bit of a read from you, I guess. It seemed like it was basically just everyone trying to be greedy and get through at the same time. Is that basically what happened?
Yeah, looked like I was trying to turn in between the sensible steering wheel and the people crashing me. I was like very stressed trying to put in the correct direction, but anyway, I lost too much time there.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate crash, and I mean, at least you have one more race where you can redeem yourself, maybe try to get in there and get some points.
Yeah. The worst for me now is getting in the 4th position in the next one. We are going to be last one is going to be the best one. This is going to be crazy, man. Anything can happen.
Very excited to see that race. All right, thank you very much, Neojet.
Yeah.
And see you later.
Yeah, good luck.
See you later.
All right, we got Aaron here. Hey man, how are you? How did that feel? You did smashingly great there.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect to hit traffic on my second lap. I assumed there was a lot of chaos behind me.
You have no idea what you missed out on. It's
As we saw this mass collision happen, and you just fly off into the sunset, it was absolutely wild.
Yeah,
I was a bit nervous at the start because Neojet had a very sharp turn into me, but luckily I think both of us survived pretty well.
Yeah, he went all out aggressive trying to get the inside there, and it just so happens at the second corner in the cargo area he clipped one of the containers and ended up blocking the whole path. And he told us that he has different setups for different vehicles and he was running his Ursa setup, so really sucks to hear that probably ruined the race for him, and yeah, made some opportunities for others, I guess.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I looked at the endings when I finished, and I saw some names were right down the grid there, like third, for example, Splam was started 7th. So yeah. I missed all the fun. I had a lot of troubles getting through some back markers because some of them defended pretty well, but I just took my time.
Yeah, I mean, you left the entire field, so I would say you drove pretty well. It was crazy. It was nice to watch.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the drive. I hit the wall once because of the back marker lagging in front of me, so I just took it easy and hit the wall on accident. But yeah, pretty confident on the win.
Yeah,
awesome. So yeah, you got race number 3 coming up. You've secured some pretty good points. What's your plan? What's your plan for the final race?
Well, this is my worst of the 3 tracks. I am not that confident on being consistent here, so I'm just gonna try and get consistent laps that aren't that fast, but at least get a decent finish position.
Yeah, 100%. Try to secure it up.
Awesome, Aaron. Okay, well, great racing and good luck on the last race. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Alright, we're gonna take a short break while we set up for Lorwell Gateways, and we'll see you in just a few. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Time Trial Masters. We are here at Lorwell Gateways. Finally, after a couple of 30Ks, we managed to recover, and we're here at the start line. We got all our racers ready to go. We're just waiting for the final preparations by our race director.
Yeah, we are halfway through the races that we've got set up for you guys today. We're 3 down, 3 to go. We've got 2 more ship races, 1 more ground race, and we found out some stuff during this 30K break about the ground race that you might find interesting. So we've had some points, we've looked at them all, and obviously Aaron has come first in both races that we've had so far, so he is absolutely very far out ahead. Some would even say it's impossible for him to win, but it's not. We found out that Neojet, if Neojet is able to win the next ground race, and Aaron is unable to get any points in the next ground race,
Okay,
that's going to be a tie.
60 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're already at 60 seconds for this race. How good's that? How good's that feel?
That's awesome. Straight into the racing, and this is going to be an interesting one because it's the 300i. It's a very big ship, and this is a very tight course. So expect some explosions, I'd say.
Yeah, from what I can tell, the main vehicle that you'll use during this race, if you're doing time trials, is the 85X. One of the best ship racing vehicles in Atmosphere that you have. Getting to do something a little bit larger is going to mean those turns are going to be a lot tighter, just by nature of it being a larger vehicle. And you can see right there where the start line is, look how small that gate is. They have to make sure that not only do they not crash into each other, but they don't crash into that. And there's a lot of those around that they're going to be racing through. Yeah, one thing I will say, even though we've had the 30Ks, yeah, absolutely amazing recovery. It's been very, very fast. We've been able to get into these races very quickly after the 30Ks, which has been awesome. So once again, shout out to all of the crew that's helping us, and the races, of course, for being speedy too. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. It's been great to see how smoothly it has gone for being our first ever race. And here we go.
Cool. Alright, so they're actually smashing it through. I am looking at a terrible view right now, but it does look like Splint's out ahead, and it looks like we have had a collision with Shaqnu.
And Shaqnu having a shunt there at the corner, and looks like Splin is gunning it here in the leads. He wants those points.
Yeah, Splend and looks like Data Machine, they're going to be fighting against each other, but Shaqnu was the winner of our first ship race, and he's down. He's gone. That's going to be no points for him. So that is huge. That is massive. Splend way out ahead. This guy is impossible to beat. This guy is an absolute beast, even in the 300i.
And Neojet, who's been doing pretty well in the ground division, is also coming in here. Second place for ships. He's doing a really good job here, catching up.
Yeah, Splend and Neojet, these two, like, titans of racing, basically. They can do no wrong. And they were really the two guys to look at beforehand. You know, they're the only two that are in both championships. So it's really good to see both of them doing really well. But right now, Splend way out ahead. We've got Neojet, Maverick, Edwin, and Tint all really, really close together as they come around for the end of the first lap. So while Splend's locked up that first place, most likely already, it is by no means done. There we go, Splend with 1 minute and 24 seconds on the first lap.
It's
look at that
really
difference
tight race here.
Yeah, look at that difference. Maverick and Neojet, only 7/100ths of a second. No, that's not how math works. Only 700 milliseconds apart from each other. It looks like Steve CC also out of the race. This one's a really, really rough one. These corners are really tight, but some of these races showing us how it's done.
And we can see Splin here still in a good lead. He's actually pulling away from the others, it looks like.
I would not be surprised if he ends up with a 20, maybe even 30-second lead by the end of this lap. Maverick has gotten a little bit further in front of the pack, but we still have Edwin, Neojet, and Tin. These guys are all right next to each other. This is going to be a wild race for second place.
It's really nice to see Canadian Maverick being up here in second place, because he is also the only racer here who pretty much only flies the 350, which also is the racing variant of the 300i. So nice seeing that he got those skills to good use.
Yeah, I would assume it wouldn't take, like, obviously there is a difference between the two vehicles, but I assume it wouldn't be a huge leap to go from the 350R to the 300i, especially when you only race in the 350R 99% of the time. Although it does look like maybe Data Machine had a little bit of a incident, perhaps. Canadian Maverick and Edwin Jarvis are going way far ahead.
Yeah, Data Machine is just a spectator here for this race, so don't pay him any attention. Oh,
that makes sense.
it looks like Edwin Jarvis here had an accident, and unfortunately will not finish the race. That means we have our last 4 racers here battling out for first, second, third, and fourth. But to be realistic, I don't think with the pace that Splen is setting that these guys will be able to catch him, because it looks like he's doing it very fast laps, but not like super fast. It doesn't look like he's pushing it, so maybe it's just taking it easy, maintaining the leads.
Look, as with what happened before, he's been in a couple of these races now. Once he's in the lead, take it slow. You know, it's paid off so far for him today, so as long as he continues to do that, he's going to be in a good way. But Maverick, he's going to try his best. He's going to try to get there. But really, the fight right now is with Neojet and Tin. These guys are still fighting in third and fourth position, very, very close to each other. I feel like we're going to see a couple of attacks between them over the course of the next couple of laps. We're only about halfway through this race so far.
Yeah, the battle here looks like to be between third place for Neojet and Tin, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Canadian is actually is pulling away from them, and maybe he's trying to catch Splen here. That would be very interesting if he managed to speed up a little bit and catch up. It's 4 laps to do it.
I think that is plenty of time to do it. He's the guy that knows this vehicle probably more than the rest, so yeah, if anyone's going to catch Splen, it's going to be Maverick at this rate, especially as, like I said, if Splen's taking it a little bit slower, taking it a little bit safer, Maverick's going to have a little bit to inch out here. We'll see what happens as they come in to finish their lap number 4. Just how much time difference is between these players. It was 11 seconds previously.
Let's watch
5 minutes, 33 seconds for Splen. Jeez.
Oh, that is fast.
Very. All right, so it looks like that 11-second lead has turned into a 12-second lead. So wasn't able to get up there, but like, hey, he's not losing much ground. He's still got some opportunities. And interestingly enough, yeah, 5 seconds still between Maverick and Tint. Neojet, 1 second.
And it looks like Tint hit the gates here, and unfortunately,
oh no, he has! Oh,
will not finish the race.
Jeez. That is very unfortunate. The fight between Tint and Neojet was really, really entertaining to watch. But now Neojet doesn't have to worry about Tint. Get fast, get in front of Maverick. Now's the time. Don't you dare let Splen win.
Yeah, it's pretty much a clear-cut race at this point, unless anyone has a crash or does anything else.
Yeah, just keep those corners tight, but not too tight, and you should be fine for the rest of the race. But Neojet, push it. Go as hard as you can. You can't get any worse than third place right now, so, hey, you know, see what you can do. Commentators are not supposed to be impartial. In fact, we have most hated racer. Unfortunately, that's normally Diplomat, so I had to choose one of the people actually racing.
Yeah, I mean, we eliminated the 2 most hated players, so we really don't have to choose anymore, so that's great.
Sounds like we might have had some frame drop issues with some players, which is very unfortunate. This is one of the cooler racetracks in Star Citizen at the moment, so it's a bit disappointing to hear that there's some frame drops, but hey, that's Star Citizen sometimes.
Unfortunately, all these tracks has also been picked out because they have the least amount of frame drops. There is an issue right now in Star Citizen with the stream bubbles, which is causing tracks like that are close to population to cause lag. So this is one of the smoothest tracks out there. But unfortunately, I guess there will still be some lag for some racers, and that's unfortunate.
But yeah, like you said, the tracks that were chosen to give the racers the best opportunity, as well as the most fun. We want the racers to have as much fun as they possibly can during this, because it's not just for you guys, all right? You got to stop being so selfish. It's not just for the entertainment. This is also so that we can see who is the best racer in the game, and that does involve lag a lot of the time.
Yeah, it does. It's just a part of the game, and hopefully sometime soon it will get better. But yeah, right now that's how it is.
As well as keep in mind any issues that we can prevent next time, like lag spikes and stuff that we can try, we will do. So, yeah. So it looks like everyone's on their 7th lap right now. Splen has made that much a larger difference between him and Maverick. Neojet as well, still about 10 seconds behind Canadian Maverick. I don't think anyone's going to catch up here in the last 2 laps, so these guys are just going to keep it tight, keep it slow, don't do anything crazy, and just make sure you finish. Some absolute amazing camera work by Diplomat here. By the way, chat, Diplomat's commentating and doing camera work at the same time. Can we get some props for Diplomat?
And I don't recommend doing it. It's we're gonna need some camera people. So if you like to do some camera work for Time Trial Masters next year, which is going to be in January, shortly after the Daymar Rally, do get in touch, please, because we need it.
For the sake of Diplomat's sanity. Splen's jumped onto his last lap here. He's going to close this one out. Maverick also there. Neojet not too far behind, I'm sure. This was all things considered, absolutely amazing race. Some unfortunate collisions, but there were some really good battles between Neojet, Tint, and Maverick there. And Jarvis, actually, for the first couple of laps. So that's the kind of stuff that we love to see.
And Splen coming in for that finish. What a race. He's been pushing it, or I should say probably not pushing it, but doing consistently fast laps and taking it safe, getting that victory home.
Yep, and almost in 11 minutes exactly. Now this is going to be huge for Splen. Once again, I don't know exactly how the math pans out, but it's going to be very hard for anyone to beat him, especially when we had him on interview that last race. He said his favorite track was the XGR Club track. And that's coming up next for him. So, I mean, being put in an amazing position and then be given your best track, that's kind of wild. I think it's going to be really hard for anyone to even come close to Splen. Which means, what's the battle for second going to look like? We have seen some amazing racing by Neojet just then. I think he's in a good spot to pick it up.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been doing some very good racing as well, and just not crashing, which seems to be the winning formula. Who would have thought?
Tends to work, from what I can tell. So we'll probably get an interview with Sven, but we're going to be setting up for the next track now, and the next track is the final ground racing track of the Time Trial Masters. So we will be crowning, well, hopefully, we'll be crowning a winner of the ground racing in a second. And it is the best of the best track. An Atmo Esports track that really, really separates people. Some people absolutely love it, myself included, and someone has the world record for it. I don't know. Their name rhymes with Pruncy or something. I don't know.
Not biased at all.
Yeah, not biased at all. I absolutely love the track, but some of the other guys, not a huge fan of it at all. But it's going to be a really, really interesting track to do in terms of an actual race. And like I've been saying that for pretty much every single one of these tracks, but this one has practically never had an actual race on it. We've done a couple of times with maybe 2 or 3 people, but never 8. 8 people on this track is gonna be really interesting.
It is, and the Cyclone can be very deadly if you don't know what you're doing. The boost gives you so much momentum that if you hit someone, you're pretty much as good as dead. So it's definitely gonna add some spice to it. I hear Splen is ready to jump in, so let's hear what he has to say. Hey Splen, congrats on another amazing run. First place again.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we pulled it off.
Who knew that running nice and safely, consistently would be a winning strategy?
Yeah, and it's really a shame what happened to Strazik and Shaknu at the beginning there, but I have a feeling they both collided. And I will say, having practiced this course, that's extremely easy to do in these very large ships.
Yeah, and also going into those first early corners, it's very tight, especially with the small distance we have on our grid. So it's something you just have to look out for. Unfortunately, they had a shunt and exploded, and I think we got to watch that on stream. Looked very pretty, but it was unfortunate for sure.
Very unfortunate, yeah. I mean, after that, it was pretty much smooth sailing because I think that was 4th and 2nd place just gone immediately. So, you know, I was able to just kind of hold it together, made sure everything was smooth, consistent, very wide and safe turns, and capitalized on the straights with the boost on that ship, and we pulled it off.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, yeah, you were telling us last race, the race to watch out for you with was the XGR Club track, and you're going into it with 2 wins.
That's
so,
right. A little bit of buffer space, hopefully.
Yeah. We haven't done the math or anything quite yet, but you're looking pretty solid. What's your plan?
Yeah. My plan is to survive. XGR Club track is very brutal for a race. I mean, the only reason I say that's my best out of these, well, not counting the Snake Pit, is the fact that I've put a lot of time into it. And we've done a lot of races there as XGR. It's probably the track we've done the most courses at so far. At least 3 that I can remember. So I do have some time there. I have a lot of experience there. And the Razor is a very, very fun ship to control. What's really going to have to happen is I need to control myself. I need to not get stressed out because some of those turns require every ounce of your being to stay stable and not hit stuff. Very, very tight track.
Yeah,
I remember watching the Stanton Cup and all of you guys, including Diplomat, actually, when you guys were racing that track. Yeah, it seems brutal. It seems brutal, but also it seems like it's going to be extremely entertaining. So I'm excited to watch you hopefully not die in the first lap, but hey, sometimes nerves get to all of us.
It has happened to me before. I've died on the first turn during the Stanton Cup, I think in Heat 2 or something. So you gotta watch. You know, I'm gonna try my best. I gotta watch everyone else too, but thankfully the Razor can take a hit or two. It has a lot of breakable wings, so hopefully that works in my favor.
Fingers crossed, and we're looking forward to seeing a race. It's going to be an absolute blast. That track is one of, if not my favorite track, because of all the turns, and you have speedways and everything you need in a track is on this next track, the XGR.
Yeah, you picked probably the 3 most favorited atmospheric tracks for XGR, so it's been a good day for those race tracks for sure.
That's good to hear.
All right, see you guys at Best of the Best.
Yeah, thank you so much for the interview, and good luck in your next race. Wow. Yeah, that was something. It's a shame we didn't get to see Shaknu and Strycek to race this track all out, but I mean, that's what happens.
It is, especially after the amazing performance that Shaknu put out in the first race that, you know, ended in unfortunate disaster, but hey, that's what happens. And there's always next time Trial Masters. And I'm certain we will see Shaknu at the very least in the next time Trial Masters. That guy is fast.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a short break as we move on over to Crusader. So get a drink, sit back and relax, and we'll see you in a little bit.
See. I've got a giveaway on my stream going at the moment, right? And I was going to chuck a code in there, a secret code word. And I decided to make it best of the best.
Lovely.
because it's the best of the best. I was like, hey people, come watch Time Trial Masters and I'll give you a code. Best of the best. There you go. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be a really, really awesome track. This is another track similar to Thetis Drift that's had a lot of traction recently, especially from players like Aaron. And Aaron won the first race, won the second race, and he has, I believe, currently the third best time on this track. But the second best time on this track is by Herbie. So while I don't think Herbie can come first, this is going to be the track that Herbie is going to try to use to get put into the top 3. So I expect to see a very, very good performance from him. In addition, we have, once again, Splen. Splen absolutely hates this track. He tells me that every time I mention it. So regardless of that, he has practiced it a bunch. He's gotten a lot of good times. But yeah, I feel like Aaron's going to crush this. For anyone who hasn't done Best of the Best before, I haven't seen Best of the Best, there's a couple of things to look out for. First off, there's a couple of really, really large jumps. One of which is, we'll see if Diplomat can show us the big jump. And this one, it's going to change your track by like 20 seconds. If you get a solid jump there, you are going to crush it. And for the majority of this, it's going to come down to, do you get a good big jump? Can you avoid the rocks?
Yeah, so, I mean, there are a few big jumps on this track, and if you get them right, you have a huge advantage. It gives you a lot of speed that you can retain over a long distance, and also you skip a lot of rocks, especially on that second long jump, which I will show you guys in just a bit. I just have to stay here to mark the start line for our racers.
Yeah, races are just getting set up, so... and yeah, in addition to that, there's also... This is a completely different vehicle, the Cyclone RC. So the regular Cyclone is awesome. It's a lot of fun because of the way it drifts. The Cyclone RC is a lot of fun because it's just so fast. It's so fast. You have boost. It's one of the only ground vehicles that actually does have boost. Actually, I believe right now it's the only wheeled vehicle that does have boost, if I'm not mistaken. And they're going to have to use that to their advantage. One of the big things is try to use the jumps to your advantage to gain boost. Because while you're in the air, that boost is coming on back. And the second that you land, you want to floor it as fast as you can, especially if you don't get a particularly good jump. It may sound like this is the track that I know the most about, and that's because it is. I have so many hours here.
Let's have a look at that first jump coming down this straight from the start. You're actually coming down here. You can go on the right side, but right up here, you can get a really big jump, which skips a lot and retains your speed, as you said.
Yeah, so as long as you get a really good line there, you're just going to go straight over. You're going to avoid a good fifth of the entire track if you hit it right. But that's if you hit it right in a time trial. When it comes to a race, only really one person's going to be able to fit through there. And so you might have the better choice of taking it a little bit wide, coming around and avoiding that section altogether. And I think we will see a couple of races do that, especially now that we've seen so many collisions in these tight corners. Thetis Drift obviously was the big one. So you can see just there, Diplomat just went over the really, really large jump. And this is actually one of the things that we've been trying to figure out how to take as fast as possible. There's a couple of lines that are going to get you through. And once again, you'll skip maybe a fifth of the track if you hit it right. But if you don't hit it right, you can still come back. You've still got your boost. You're going to gain a lot of that boost while you're in the air. And you've got a couple of jumps that can take you out of it. This little flat section, love it. Love this flat section. So much speed. Oh, man.
And lots of small obstacles that can take you out if you're not careful. So maneuvering through all these rocks is probably the challenge here, but there are some pretty good routes that racers have figured out over time here on this track. But then again, we're talking race lines here, so as you said, you can't fit more than maybe 1 or 2 cyclones on most areas of this track. So have they learned? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see when Neojet puts his vehicle into Aaron or in front of him. Time will
60
tell.
60 seconds.
And as we are coming up here on the start and finish line, Luigi actually came here and said that we have 60 seconds, so we are almost ready to go. That's excellent news.
Yeah, so if you're watching from home, a couple of things I would say to look out for. Look for the really big jump, which you'll notice. You'll notice the really big jump. But then also look for about 2/3 of the way through the track. That's where, if anyone's going to be spinning out, that's where they're going to be spinning out. That's where the majority of the small obstacles are. Regardless, this is looking like it's going to be a good race. Aaron trying to secure that win. Neojet trying to secure that tie. let's see what can happen. Yeah, this is going to be an exciting end. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely, and here already at the start line, as you can see, it's super tight in between the rocks. So where will they go? I have no idea. I'm hoping they will split, otherwise we're gonna have quite a show here in a few seconds.
Let's hear those cheers in chat for the last ground race of Time Trial Masters Autumn, determining the winner of this entire previous season. Go Herbie, I believe in you.
And we're off, and Aaron had a really bad start here, and Data Machine getting out in front, but NeoJet actually cutting the corner, trying to get in front. RP actually is stealing the lead here, out of nowhere. I don't know where he came from, onto the jump,
And he's
as
going to
you
get
can
that
see.
solid jump, yeah.
Oh, that's a sweet jump. Aaron following him closely behind.
Oh, a little bit of a collision. Sanjay Sharma, Data Machine, they are both caught up just before that first jump there. Splen a little bit behind that. I think his vehicle is okay, but he did get caught out.
Looks like a big crash at the back, unfortunately for them, but we have a huge battle here. RP is saying, I don't want you to win this. This track is mine. And he's currently leading by just here. Oh, hit the rock there. And unfortunately,
he did hit the rock, but Aaron, RP, NeoJet, they all hit that jump as well as they possibly could. Herbie hit it a little bit too sharp, is going to bounce into the wall there. Nezrathil also, and Splen's going to be able to take a position there over Herbie coming from behind.
Aaron with a sudden turn there. I don't know what he was doing, but he did lose a lot of time. So again, RP, Aaron, and NeoJet fighting for that first place.
I can say, in regards to that sudden turn, one thing that I believe all the Cyclones do, but at the very least the Cyclone RC does, is it does allow you to turn during the course of your being in air, and the second that you land, those wheels are going to flip that way. So you can preemptively turn, but sometimes it's a little bit too drastic and you'll end up spinning out.
Aaron into Diplomat's house. A name I got from the Stanton 7. Those rocks, sadly. He will... But, I mean, it didn't hurt him too much. He's right back at it. It's insane how consistent these racers are and how close they are.
Yeah, it's wild. And it's, yeah, NeoJet, RP, Aaron, they've all going to pass that first lap. And, I mean... yeah, this is super close. With the nature of this track, it means that it really is literally anyone's game. But, I mean, RP had an amazing large jump. I assume he's about to do it again. And everyone else is starting to catch up a little bit more.
And we got Aaron going on first here. Does he get the jump? Oh, that's a really nice jump.
Seems pretty smooth. A little bit of a turn as he lands, but he gets the distance, gets over those large rocks. That's what you want to see.
And RP had a little spin, but he did manage to land in the right area, so very good for him. And remember, we got 6 more laps, so they have plenty of time to catch up and make mistakes. So this is still anyone's game. Actually, I see Nezrathil also. He is catching up here with NeoJet. Looks
yeah,
like,
Nezrathil taking a couple of places there. Splen back in the, I believe, last place position. Yep, Splen all the way in the back at the moment. Herbie, NeoJet, and Nezrathil all quite close to each other. The distance between Aaron and RP has gotten significantly larger than it was just moments ago. Getting some good lines, getting some good jumps.
And if you're wondering, no, that's not Data Machine in front. He is way back after that accident with Sanji. Don't know what happened to Sanji. Maybe he died. Maybe I don't know. He's out of the race.
Yes, I can say at the very least, from my perspective, it did look like they crashed into each other, and one of them may have glitched out, which likely resulted in an explosion or a broken wheel, which can happen to these vehicles, just not very often. And it looks like Data Machine, at the very least, survived, which is going to mean, hey, he might be able to put a time on the board. We're only on, what, lap 3 now? So, lots of time to get back up there, especially as Aaron looks like he takes the jump way too sharp and smashes into those sections. Now, that might not look like as much of a detriment as it is, but trust me, if you smash into those rocks there, you're going to lose a solid 10 seconds on your lap.
Yeah, and you can see all the other racers are very close behind. We are watching here the battle for second place and possibly first place as well if they manage to catch up. They're all having very similar speed here. So pretty cool to see that they are this close.
Yeah, Herbie trying to get into that pack, gone for seconds. Splend's come a little bit further behind now, but that he has that whole entire race section to himself, so he can take it as slow as he wants for the most part. But yeah, Aaron, that distance, if he gets one or two more bad jumps, that's not going to be great for him. We're likely going to see Neojet, RP, Nezrithil come up in front of him.
That's a very tight cut by Aaron, almost out of bounds there, going very tight. And it wasn't that good of a jump either, because as you can see, Neojet is only trailing behind by roughly 500 meters now.
Yeah, Neojet got a solid jump off there and was able to capitalize on Aaron coming in. So as you can sort of see, once again, for any of those at home, you can kind of see there's this little, almost Idris shape around area 141. Pretty much anywhere on the top of there is out of bounds. And whoa, Herbie and Data Machine in a collision. That is not great. It's possible they might not be able to get out of that one.
Yeah, that does not look great for those two, and not for the rest of the pack either when they're coming for the runaround here in the area on the finish line.
Interestingly, Glenn is coming from behind. Is he also going to ram? Although it looks like they might have gotten unstuck.
Yeah, it looks like they managed to get unstuck.
Bloody hell. And while we were watching that, we missed a lot of action on the other side. It looks like Neojet did get really, really close to Aaron, but Aaron's just pulled out a little bit more. But we've still got a massive fight there between Neo, Nezrithil, and RP, and they are closing this gap on Aaron.
I remember Nezrithil coming into this race said that he wasn't such a fan of the short circuit tracks, but at least this is a track that he's been doing a lot, and he knows like his back garden.
Oh, there we go. Nezrithil's going to take the lead.
And he passes Aaron with ease. It's going to be curious to see if he can stick to that lead, because we still have half our race distance left. So there isn't so much room for mistakes, as you can see here, as they swap positions pretty regularly, actually.
Yeah, this fight, this fight is action-packed. Now remember, in order for Aaron to not win, Neojet needs to win, and Aaron needs to get fifth or worse. And that only ties it up if Neojet's able to do it. Right now, Neojet's in front of Aaron, so that's a good start, but he's going to need Aaron to get into some sort of catastrophic incident. But the fight for second is still up there.
Let's see how they do this jump, how they line up. Oh, Nezrithil with a big mistake. Neojet going under him.
Ooh!
Going past. That was a nice pass by Neojet right there.
Man, some of these jumps are absolutely fantastic. It's been great to see the evolution of the races on this track has evolved so much, finding these perfect jump lines, but it's been getting riskier and riskier as the times have been getting less and less. So Aaron's going to go back into the lead once again. We've still got Nezrithil and Neojet right behind him. They are fighting for their lives. RP just over the big jump. In the back, we've got Herbie, Splend, and Data Machine, and they're swapping every now and then. So we actually have a fight for last place here.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, RP has been struggling a little bit these last few laps, so he is having some issues in the back. He was fighting for the lead just a couple of laps ago, actually.
Yeah, RP was in that large first pack that we've seen with Aaron, Nezrithil, and Neo, but now he's in the backpack, and he seems to have been in a really, really bad situation there. He lost about 20 seconds after the large jump, getting caught on some rocks. Here we go, fight between Nezrithil and Aaron on the straight after the start line. These guys are right next to each other. Oh, what a beautiful jump. What a great view. That looks so good.
Nezrithil with a better landing, and he passes Aaron without problems here into the turn. Let's see if he can make a better jump than last time.
Oh, it looks like we have an incident with RP with a collision. So it sounds like that's going to be RP out of the running for this one.
RP, unfortunately. I wonder where he got stuck or exploded. Maybe it was down here where we saw him last time.
I do believe that was the case. It did seem like he was stuck there for quite some time. He might have lost a wheel or something as well. I'm not 100% sure. But Nezrithil now going to take the lead and getting quite a bit of distance too between himself, Neojet, and Aaron. And it's continuing. Nezrithil absolutely crushing it, getting an amazing late lap bonus. Oh, there's like a client crash from RP.
Oh,
that
that's
is
unfortunate.
Extremely unfortunate. That is some Star Citizen. But it was an absolutely amazing job by RP. It was really, really fun to watch that fight. So kudos to you nonetheless.
Yeah, and we see Nesratil here just gaining that lead immensely here now, doing a really good lap after lap here. And I'm wondering if he's, he's 2 laps to go.
Yeah, we're almost finished on this Cinderella story already, and Nesrathil's. It's going to be hard for him to lose this distance, but hey, we saw it happen to Aaron, and it happened only within basically the space of a lap. So now NeoJet's just hoping that Nesrathil crashes and Aaron crashes, and no one else. There's no one else to crash other than those two.
And as you say
in order to get that fire.
And as you say that, Nesrathil had a bad jump, so they're catching up to him once again, and it just shows that racing on this track is actually pretty good. There are so many mistakes to be made that, you know, if you just do the tiniest mistake, you might lose 10-15 seconds, and then the rest of the pack are right back at your heels.
Some fancy light work from NeoJet there as he spins out. But still going to keep that lead against Aaron and Nesrathil once again. He had a great large jump as well, so he's just continuing to get that lead a little bit larger. He's only got a lap left to finish, really. So I think that's gonna tie that one off for Nesrathil, which is really good to see, because as you were saying, he doesn't really like these smaller races, not a huge fan of them, but yeah, he's performing well on them, so maybe he'll start to like them now.
Oh, they are running too close for comfort here. I'm getting excited just by watching. I mean, they're
right on top of each other. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
One left, one right. Solid landing on the right and on the left. That's crazy.
Wow,
these guys are actually neck and neck.
Yeah, it's such a tight race. Oh, Aaron making a mistake. NeoJet saying, "Thank you. Yes, I might not be able to win, but I'm going to beat you on this race."
I don't know. He's still good. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of obstacles. It might be the last lap, but a lot of game left.
Very true. And as we do a pan around, we can see Herbie trailing behind quite far, and Splen actually and Data Machine being lapped here soon. Maybe.
Yeah, it looks like that is likely to happen, which I mean is fine. They've done a great job. Like, getting lapped on the last lap is kind of nothing. It's kind of fine, especially when you've been doing a solid job all race. Oh wow, NeoJet Nesrathil, was that a collision?
That was
no.
Yeah, I think so. He landed on this roof or something.
Ah, right. No worries. Well, Aaron back in the lead thanks to that. Nesrathil and NeoJet getting a little caught up. I don't know if it was exactly a collision or maybe just a collision with a rock. But Aaron able to capitalize on that. These guys are actually neck and neck right now. One mistake from one of them means the other two just go right past. And there we go. NeoJet slams into a rock. Nesrathil and Aaron going to take
Aaron doing his best job here, coming to the last corner here. He wants to win it because that's 3 for 3 for him. But Nesrathil says, "Not on my watch." He is actually ahead.
Oh!
And he's going to take it. It looks like as he strolls in.
Oh, and what an amazing landing and into the finish line. Well done, Nesrathil. Congratulations. But with Aaron coming second, ladies and gentlemen, that does confirm your ground winner of Time Trial Masters August is going to be Aaron the God. Congratulations, man. An absolutely stellar performance today. First, and second. That is crazy. Really, really well done, man.
Very well done. And he will be walking away with a Hoverquad LTI pledge as well as a CCU to a mule if he so much wants it. As well, I think we also have some cash prizes. I don't remember the exact amounts for UEC that he will receive in game. The same goes for the second and third place. We'll also receive that, but we'll have to look into that to find out who that is.
But more importantly, a special badge on the SCR.GG website.
That's right, because it's a moving badge, so that means that you'll actually be losing your badge.
Yeah!
And it goes to Aaron, rightfully so. Well done by him, winning 2 in a row, and then finishing second on the last one. Just barely Nesrathil managed to snatch that victory from him. So well done.
And an absolutely amazing job by Nesrathil. They were in the fight since the beginning. Nesrathil, Aaron, NeoJet, for the majority of the race, RP as well. We had these 4 races right next to each other, neck and neck, and so many swapped positions. They kept on getting past each other. It was wild.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch. And I mean, the start was really fun, and the race was fun. This was actually, I think, my favorite race of all the 3 we did. It was really fun to watch.
Very, very entertaining. All right, well, shall we talk to our winner, our Time Trial Masters winner?
I'm thinking we're first going to talk to Nesrathil, our winner of this heat,
Sounds good.
if he is available, and then we will jump on to Aaron shortly after that.
Sounds good.
Hey Nesrathil, how are you?
I'm good.
Man, that last second overtake to get the lead, that was some clenching moments right there.
Yeah, it was some really close jumps, and I had some fortunate auto flaps that was in my favor. So
Yeah, I mean, it was a very back and forth race the whole time. I felt like the first place was changing like every lap at least, maybe 2 or 3 times at times. It was insane. How did you find this race?
I found it very, very fun. My first lap was really, really bad. I came into the second big jump and hit a rock, so I had to just scoot over it and drive slowly. So I thought I was going to be dead last, but then I got ahead again, got some nice jumps, didn't do too many big failures, and it felt good.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, and a huge props for winning this race. I know you've been done well in the Stenton 7. You won it this year, and I guess it's you didn't win the Time Trial Masters, but at least you won this track, so that's something.
Yeah, and as a Stanton 7 competitor, this track is very warm to my heart, and I spent a lot of time here.
Awesome.
Now the big question: do you forgive Diplomat?
We will see after the Hurston Hurt Locker or something.
Do I have a target on my back or something?
We need blood.
Alright, you heard it here first. I'm down and also competing in the Hurston Hurt Locker, of course. But yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Fantastic performance, man.
Alright, let's hear what Aaron has to say. Hey Aaron, wow, almost 3 for 3.
Yeah, I played a bit safe at the end. I was a bit shaky going in the final jump, so Nestrail had a really good jump. It was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, overall, you smashed it, and it was so fun to just see you trading blows back and forth between Nesrathil and Neojet, and even RP was in for the run at the start there.
Yeah, we had a lot of good fights going on. It was really a back and forth.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was super impressive to watch. So you said originally you didn't feel super comfortable on this track, and you didn't think you'd be very consistent, but you were extremely consistent. So I mean, the humbleness, like give yourself a pat on the back. It was a really good performance. Was there any moment in it that so Neojet was around you for a large portion of it, and he was the only one that really could have possibly taken you out of contention? Were you aware of that? Were you scared of that? What were you feeling during?
Not really. I was just wary of the start, trying to survive that, because I thought that was the only point where I had the most risk of dying. And luckily I survived that, and then I just drove the rest of it pretty decently, I would say.
Well, a great race from you, and great races actually, and you'll be going away with a hover quad as well as a CCU for the mule, and some UEC as well. So don't spend it all at once.
Don't worry, I won't.
And we'll see if you can make it back to back next season.
Yeah, I might now. I want to see back to back 3 times back to back. That's what I want to see. All right, sure. Nice racing, Aaron. Nice having you here, and have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great last race.
Thank you. All right, we are headed for the creme de la creme, the XGR club track. I'd say it's probably my favorite ship track. It's really cool, really tight. It has lots of turns, it has straights, it has speed, it has creeping corners, everything you want from a really good racetrack. So we'll be setting up for that and be right back in just a few.
See you soon, guys. From what I've heard, it's one of the most favored tracks for a lot of the ship races. Obviously, especially if you were here with our interview with Splen in the last race, it's his favorite too. And he's coming into this with 2 wins already under his belt.
Yeah, Splen is absolutely crushing it. It's been some close calls, unfortunately, with his competition, though. We have like Shaknu, who's also a very good racer, who wiped out on the last race, so unfortunately out of the points. But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that if Neojet does win and Splen crashes out this race, it's a tie.
Yep, so that's right. You heard it. It's the exact same situation we had in the ground races. Neojet is the one to root for if you don't like Splen. That's how it works.
Yeah,
and remember, that's only for a tie as well. It's not for the win. Neojet just can tie Splen.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool to see though that Neojet actually has been managing to do so well in both the ground race and the ship races. So hats off for him. I mean, he's had a couple of accidents. I guess maybe he could have had a better chance if he learned from Splen and drove a little more carefully.
Possibly. One of the biggest things though is, exactly what you said. He's performed well in both, which is awesome. You don't get many racers who are really good at both types of racing. Obviously, Splen lives and breathes racing. He's going to be good at all types of racing all the time. But we don't see Neojet super often. And so it's really awesome to see him absolutely crush it in both of these different forms. So I'm definitely rooting for him in this race. But, Splen's the GOAT. Splen's the fastest out there, the most world records, the highest on the leaderboards. He is the Magnus Carlsen of Star Citizen.
He's the one to beat, and I'm sure everyone here wants to give him a run for his money, and we know that pretty much all the racers here can, if they're given the chance. But, it's a race, it's a tight track, and especially the first few corners are super tight, so, we could potentially have some explosions, but maybe our racers have learned something from the previous races and take some wider lines, maybe they drive more carefully, we'll see. I think just try to survive is the best strat here for everyone.
Yeah, and that's a strategy that you employed during the Stanton Cup, and you did really well on this track just by not dying. And
yeah, I actually ended up winning the first Stanton Cup heat on this track because I was just doing nice and consistent lines, just taking it easy, and I think that's key. And seeing like Splen being able to pace himself so that he doesn't push it to the limit and destroy himself, that just shows that he's become a very, very good racer and someone to be afraid of.
Okay, commentators, we're waiting on CCC to make his way down, and right after that will be a 60-second start. So,
that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. As you see in chat, we were trying to wake up Black Maze as we're passing his neighborhood in an art corpse. So,
so yeah, this is the XGR club track. This is where Black Maze lives, both in real life and outside of real life. Now, this track is insane. So many sharp corners, so many small corridors. I feel like the theme of the day has been, you've got to let someone pass you. You can't be too aggressive in a lot of these situations. But if you want a shot at winning, you got to play chicken. You've got to play aggressive. I feel like you're going to die, but hey, the glory of the win is worth it.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. You can be aggressive, but as long as you're careful as well in those turns, look around, try to avoid the other racers, then yeah, maybe that's the way to go, actually.
Nah, look, Diplomat's wrong, guys. If you have any part of your vehicle left at the end of this race, you're doing it wrong. It'd be maximum speed.
Go out with a bang, that's what you're saying. Give it your all.
In all seriousness, I'm really interested to see how Shaknu does on this racetrack, as he's shown he's been really fast. We didn't get to see much of him in the last track, obviously, but I want to know. I think he's got a really good future ahead of him, especially in the TTM. So, yeah, that's
a
what
really
I'm
good
looking out for in this
racer,
race.
both
Cool.
on race days and also on the time trial leaderboards. So a good racer for sure, someone to watch out for. But the same can be said for many of our other racers who are ranking pretty high there on the leaderboard. For instance, we have Tinter, we have Straysack, we have Edwin Jarvis, Canadian Maverick, and Neojet, and they're all among the 16 best time trial racers. So good
exactly.
racers, all of them.
That's a thing we haven't mentioned for about 3 hours, is how people actually qualified for this event. So if you go to scr.gg right now, you'll see a bunch of really cool racetracks, and you'll see a bunch of really cool runs that people have done on those racetracks. If you submit a time in those racetracks and you get a good time, that's going to count towards the leaderboard. And within this season, which I believe the new season has technically already begun, Diplomat, yes?
That's correct, yeah.
Yep. So within the season, which started a couple of weeks ago, and we'll be finishing towards end of December, I believe.
Yes, the season will end December at the end of the month, and then our first race will be shortly after the Daymar Rally, so probably 2 or 3 weeks into January, I believe.
Yeah, so if you can get as much of your fast times as possible onto the leaderboards by the end of December, then you'll qualify. Do keep in mind, though, that when patches do come out, there tends to be a lot of, flip-flopping with new races and whatnot. But I feel like, if a new patch comes out December 28th, don't worry too much. I don't think it's likely that your times will still count. But regardless, that's all you got to do. You got to do some racetracks, and then you can qualify. So, yeah, you just got to give it a go.
Everyone can do it. It's not that hard, and we got lots of tracks tailoring everyone. If you like ground racing, ship racing, or even if you just want to go on foot and break out of prison, I mean, you can do that as well. So we got runs for everyone.
How was that last week? I didn't get a chance to hop in for that one.
It was a lot of fun, and we got some very smooth prison breaks at the end of it. Unfortunately, some of our racers who were doing really well forgot to hit the record button, so that happens, unfortunately. So,
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was chasing best of the best world record after I think Aaron had taken it from me or something.
Oh, and apparently we are live.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
whoops. And I'm in the middle of the racetrack. Well, that's very professional. I think someone forgets to tell us.
Guys. Look, guys, let's get some hype in the chat. It is the last race of the day. We've had some awesome racing. Let's get it going.
And let's get that leaderboard out of the way.
So Splend currently in the lead, followed by Edwin, Canadian Maverick, Neojet, Tint, Shaknu, Strazik, and
Canadian
CCC
with
Fire
that
in the back.
crash straight
Ooh.
into the pole. Unfortunately for him, he is out of this race.
That is our first DNF of the race. Unfortunate for Maverick, but an amazing racer nonetheless, and I guarantee you we will see him in the future.
Let's see how they do in this last corner into the finish. You have to go in between these buildings. It's a very tight place to go, but it seems like all of our racers make it.
And now you can see why Splend was saying this was his most comfortable track. Look at how much distance he has put between himself and Shaknu. Now we do have a lot of fights happening here. Neojet and Tint with Strazik not too far behind. Oh!
And we have an explosion
What happened
Tint
there,
going into Whitetech. Oh, and we got another one. We have Neojet crashing.
Jeez. Absolutely brutal. That was the fight. That was the fight that I was just talking about.
That was the fight, and the fight is over. They both lost, unfortunately. But such is the way. It seems like they were pushing way beyond what they were comfortable with. And I mean, this track is not very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you go straight into a building, and then it's over.
But I will say, Shaknu has caught up a little bit on Splend. That distance is not quite as far as it used to be. Edwin, Strazik, and Steve, all of these guys still in the running, but a lot of distance between them. Steve very, very far behind, about half a lap behind, it seems.
Yeah, and I think Shaknu here is the one who has nothing to lose, so he definitely wants that first place, getting one of the victories here tonight. As Splend is just basically coasting in for the win. Now that Neojet is out, it's pretty much nothing no one can do to beat Splend, so he got this in the bag.
He does, but hey, there's more than just prizes on the line. There's bragging rights. Shaq-Nu proved that he was one of the best racers on the Snake Pit, but some unfortunate things happened. So now, just take Splen. Splen took that win from you. No holds barred. Get ahead of him. Don't let him get the 3 for 3.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you want to cut him off where you can, and winning the last race, I mean, that's a big thing in itself, because Splen has been crushing it these last 2 races, just like Aaron in the ground division, taking both the victories previously. Oh, and as I said, that Splen hits the building out of Vitek. Oh, and he survives after crashing.
He survives, but Shaq-Nu able to get past him after that. That was crazy.
Wow, that was I don't understand. How did you survive that?
Pure skill. I'm gonna assume pure skill.
Pure skill, yeah.
So that's nuts. Shaq-Nu's gonna have a big advantage here. I don't know if Splen's gonna be able to catch up to him with 4 laps left, but if anyone can, it's Splen.
Yeah, and Splen here probably has some damage on his racer, so he might be suffering a little bit more now. So yeah, you can see how far Shaq-Nu is in the lead now. I think maybe Splen has some damage, and he's probably gonna fall back a bit.
Yeah, it does seem like his flying's a bit more sporadic. His turns are nowhere near as sharp as they were earlier. So, where he was talking earlier about, sometimes when you get damage, your ship does go a little bit faster, but it really depends on where the damage goes. So, not in his favor in this way it seems. But we still do have Steve and Strazik on the field at the moment. We've got, of course, Shaq-Nu in first, Splen in second, Strazik in third, and Steve in fourth. Ooh, sorry, for a second they were really close to each other. I was kind of expecting a large collision there. Yeah, Shaq-Nu just making this lead way larger now, jeez.
Yeah, he's leading by quite the margin. I think it's safe to say that Splen has some damage, and but even though he is racing pretty fast with that damage, so
I do wonder if some of our better racers that are out here, like Aaron and Splen and well, really everyone. How many of them are practicing in situations where they do take a little bit of damage? Are they capitalizing on that? Like, yeah, you could just reset. Let's just go for full health and get our maximum speed back, etc. But in a racing situation, that's not going to happen, and you're going to have to adapt. And I mean, Splen is adapting pretty well right now, so I have a feeling he may have practiced this a couple of times with some broken wings.
Yeah, I mean, Splen does a lot of racing, so even if it's intentional or unintentional, he probably has lost a few wings while he's doing his practice runs, so I assume he does have the experience. Shaq-Nu going into his 7th lap.
Yeah, not much left now. Splen about to make his way through. Strazik and Steve quite a fair bit behind, but they'll pick up some points. They'll pick up a spot in the finish line. And, that's really what it's about. If you can say, last time Trial Masters I came 3rd or 4th, this one I came 2nd, well, that's a massive improvement, obviously. So the best you can do is still awesome. And, hey, it's not a loss in my book.
Absolutely not. I mean, just getting to this point and posting all the runs and running this in the Time Trial Masters is good by itself. So huge props to the racers who made it here and are doing really well here on the track.
Shaq-Nu about to approach final lap. Strazik and Steve CC right next to each other, but I believe they are a lap behind each other.
Yes, for sure. I mean, Shaq-Nu is probably going to. Oh my God! Into Vitek, the same.
Shaq-Nu down.
It's the same situation as last time. I mean, he said it in the interview that, when he heard the last lap, he got a little bit stressed because, it's the last lap, he has to perform, he has to get through the track. And unfortunately, he hit the smallest object you can hit on the track here. It's a small light pole on top of the building there, as you can see, unfortunately.
2 races, he's in the lead, and he gets a DNF on the last lap. Absolutely devastating.
That is super unfortunate. But I mean, that's how it is with nerfs. You know, doing live races, it gets to you. So hopefully over time he'll learn to deal with it, and he'll be able to improve.
And look, I will still 100% say he was the fastest ship racer we saw today. In terms of speed, in terms of just like aggression on these tracks, he's going to take the win for that. But really, that's not what matters. What matters is that Splen just finished his final lap, which means, ladies and gentlemen, Splen in the Time Trial Masters goes 3 for 3, the defending champion of the ship racing, and he crushes it once again. This man can do no wrong.
Yeah, absolutely solid racing from Splendor, and just showing that he got what it takes to be on the top, and he deserves it because he knows what he's doing. Just staying cool through all the races, taking it slow, but at the same time not too slow. So he's actually there at the top 3 every time, and when people make mistakes, he's there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, exactly. And like, look, in all 3 races, like exactly, he was always in the top 3 for the most part in every single race. Didn't really let anyone get up. Even if someone was in front of him, he made sure that lead that he had from 3rd or 4th was way far behind him. So even if he didn't win all 3, it was extremely likely he was going to get there just by, consistent 2nd place or consistent 3rd place. He's just that good of a racer. He did a really, really good job. And, it makes up for maybe some of his worst performances on the ground racing. And he's still going to take home a trophy. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's talk to the man himself, Splen. Hey man, how are you doing? What a solid last race that was.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little lucky, but I'm not sure it would have mattered too much. I did hit a building, but I bounced off with minimal damage.
Yeah, I was so surprised. When I saw that, I was sure you were out, but for some miraculous reason, you actually managed to recover. What you bounced back, you said?
Yeah, the Razor, I mean, unlike ships like the P-52, we got a lot of detachable parts here on the Razor, and they have individual HP, so basically I just got lucky and hit a front fin, it looks like. Took some damage there. And it didn't affect the main hull, so I didn't have any thruster imbalances, so we're good.
Alright, so if you're planning to start racing anytime soon, choose the Racer, because apparently it has bumpers, and it helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I kid you not, it is really, really good. So, yeah, in fact, it is a great choice for a lot of the tracks in the Stanton Cup, for example, but when it comes to 0G, you have to pick the P-72, and that is a very dangerous pick in comparison because it doesn't have any of that. So, these things to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's also why I want the diversity on the tracks on this Time Trial Masters to have different feeling ships and different performing ships to sort of get you through the paces and try out your skills on all of them, I guess.
Yeah. Yep, I mean, I went to the ground races knowing that I was not a favorite by any means, but they were still all dramatically different from each other, and it was very, very fun. It was a great job all around. Very good Time Trial Masters, so thank you guys.
That's great to hear, and thank you for being here. You'll actually be going away with some prizes today. You'll be getting a hover quad pledge with LTI, as well as a CCU for a C8X, I believe it is, a Pisces.
Oh my god, thank you.
And some Alpha UEC. I don't remember how much it was, but you're giving away cash for the top
counts
3.
In this profession.
Whatever Tiplet's got is
UEC.
Yeah. Thank you.
Look, 3 for 3, back-to-back Time Trial champion. I mean, you are the best flying racer in Star Citizen, but I reckon Shaqnu's got you next time. I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
Shaqnu's coming back. He's coming for you. I mean, honestly, all three races, it didn't really feel like there was anyone who was at your level genuinely. There was some absolutely amazing racing, but you just absolutely crushed it, except for Shaqnu.
Yeah, Shaqnu really showed muscles today.
He's a strong racer. He hasn't been playing the game for very long. I'll give that to his credit. I've been playing this game for 6 years. He's been playing for 6 months. So just to put that into perspective, a little more stick time, he's going to become very dangerous. And he just got new hardware as well. He's going to be breaking that in. Got some Virpils under his belt now. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward. It's nice to have somebody up here at this level because that's the only thing that keeps me honest, right? I'm not going to have any reason to get better unless somebody's challenging me. So I encourage everybody listening and everybody watching, get on the boards. Show us what you got, because we need you up here to keep this as a legitimate esport, to keep all of us honest, and to show everyone what you're made of.
Absolutely, and you can do that by heading over to scr.gg, check out the tracks there, start running, start recording, posting your runs, showing everyone how good you are. And it doesn't matter if it's ship racing, ground racing, or even on-foot racing, we got it all. So I'd just like to thank you, Splen, for participating, thank everyone for watching, and thank you to Cronzy for helping me cast this show. And let's not forget about the people who do all the hard work. Luigi, who is pushing all the buttons, doing all the stuff that you see on screen so that we can follow the action. And Asgeir for ferrying our people between the races. Really appreciate all the help that you've all been given. And in case you want to help out for the next Time Trial Masters, do check out our Discord, get in touch. We need people for cameras, we need people for pretty much anything. So we appreciate all the help we can get. And thank you for that, Cronzy.
You know what? I survived for like a really long time somehow. I couldn't help it. Thank you, everyone, genuinely. Thank you, Diplomat, for SCR in general. It's been awesome. It's been really, really good way to get all of the different racing communities together. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Hopefully, we'll see you guys at the next Time Trial Masters. Yeah, I'm Cronzy. That's my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you all later.